All right, so today I just want to talk about the pros and cons of ADHD. Okay, so I'll say there's a lot of pros to having ADHD. A lot of people think that it's mostly just a negative thing that can affect your life. There's a lot of negative connotations towards having ADHD, and yeah, well, there is a lot of negatives. It can be very positive to you. It has something. It's you can have a hyper focus when you engage in activity. Say that you are creating a piece of work and you're very interested in it. You can create on that and you can just go hours and hours and hours of working on that piece of art. It gives you resilience um, in the way that it's a struggle to learn with having ADHD, and then you have to learn and cope on how to deal with having it. So it makes you a lot more resilient on figuring out how to solve certain problems and making yourself interested in things and engaging in activities that you wouldn't otherwise find yourself willing to do. So it makes you a stronger person overall. You can have multiple tracks of thought. It's kind of weird. It's just kind of like I like to describe it as a train highway. It's like there's so many just railways going different ways, and you're just thinking about this, and you can just switch tracks so easily to this train of thought, and you're back to this train of thought, back to this train of thought easily. Reading ability, you can read. It's a proven study that people with ADHD read at a much higher rate than other people, and that's some of the just the pros. So for the cons, um, as a lot of people know, you don't often fit in with the modern world. By modern world, I mean business. It's not easy to sit down and engage in meetings or stare at PowerPoint slides or sit there and do mundane tasks sitting at a desk, data entry without medication. You have to deal with a ton of labels because when you tell somebody you have ADHD, they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry that you have ADHD. I guess you're just a problem child." No, it's not like that at all. And you have to constantly explain that while there are a lot of negatives, there are the positives that go along with those uh, negatives. Um, it's very easy to show disinterest in a task if you're not interested in it all. It's an extraordinary struggle to make yourself engage and go along with this task. Like, say that you are making a PowerPoint slide, it can be very tough to finish. You can sit there and you're like, well, okay, well, I got to do this now instead because I am just so uninterested. It's you're fighting a battle of wills with yourself at all times for things that you're not interested in. It can often lead to emotional control. I guess best way to describe it is emotional highs and emotional lows. So with ADHD, you don't really have a medium point. You're either very happy or just very sad. So often people you'll see with I guess bipolar, they are often seen as having ADHD as well. Um, Con is people with ADHD often need constant stimulation. They need to be either be talking to somebody, they need to be doing something with their hands, they need to be rearranging, they need to be cleaning. Um, um, not impulse control. Oh gosh, well, I just lost my train of thought because I just went down a different rail. That's a perfect example of ADHD. So that's for the cons. Notable people with ADHD. There's a lot of people, famous people around the world, and there's a lot of highly successful people with ADHD because they need that constant stimulation. So just a couple of examples: Justin Timberlake, Michael Phelps, Levine, Simone Biles, and Terry Bradshaw. Simone Biles and Terry Bradshaw, I guess, and Michael Phelps as well. I'm sorry. Uh, They are noteworthy for me because they're all athletes, and athletes, they have that constant stimulation. They're constantly engaging with other people. They just want to be the best, so they have all that constant stimulation. There's a lot of misconceptions and false positives. As somebody that's been diagnosed with ADHD myself, I often talk to people that say they have it, and it's uh, I guess I can get into arguments with them because there's a lot of people that take it purely because they want to get the medication from doctors. I don't believe in self-medication because it's not the best, and it can, I guess, it just ruins who I feel like I am as a person. But there's a lot of people that will lie just to become prescribed with the medication. It's pretty significant. So there's even studies, as you can see, there's 38% of doctors say that they believe that a patient is lying just to get the medication. For the new information on ADHD, it's becoming more well known. Well, back in the past, I just saw like, well, your kid, they just they're dumb, or they don't know what they're doing, or they just don't want to learn. But like as nowadays with modern medicine, with the advances in research and science, uh, uh, medical professionals are able to, we're able to see that like, oh hey, there's actually some sort of learning disability that this person has. It's not because they're dumb, because they can't learn. It's because they're trying their best. It's just they require a different kind of stimulation or a different kind of learning path. And as we're learning to make aware and find out who actually needs it, it's become very helpful to help kids. These are some of my sources that I found. ADHD by the numbers, 13 pros and cons of ADHD, the odds, pros and cons of ADHD, and what are the pros and cons of having ADHD in the workplace. These are all very helpful resources. I highly recommend it if you are interested. Thank you.